Olá, eu sou Márcio Silva. Você vai assistir agora um vídeo do Daniel Goleman, quando ele esteve no Encontro com Gigantes, falando sobre inteligência emocional. Se você esteve no Encontro com Gigantes, deixa seu comentário aqui. Ou se você estuda inteligência emocional e você aprendeu muito com inteligência emocional, deixa também aqui o seu depoimento, o seu comentário sobre como que a inteligência emocional tem ajudado você nos seus negócios e também na sua vida. Ok? Bora pro vídeo.
One research was in a sushi bar. You have sushi bars here in Sao Paulo, yeah. You sit at a counter, seat, and the sushi chef is making whatever you ask for. Two women next to me are talking. I couldn't help but overhear them. One of them is talking about her brother who's single and a little bit desperate. He's been going to what in America is called speed dating. I don't know if this has come to Sao Paulo, but single women sit at a table and there's a timer. And men go from table to table and they have a timed conversation, at the end of which, ding, buzzer goes off, and the woman can decide whether to give email or phone number for follow-up. And this woman says, my brother has never gotten a follow-up, not even once. And I know why. The minute he sits down, he starts trying to impress her by talking nonstop about himself. Contrast that with a wedding that I read about that very weekend. The paper in New York, the New York Times, every week takes one wedding and it unpacks it. How the couple met, every detail. And I read about the wedding of Cynthia Fuchs Epstein. When Cynthia Fuchs was dating, she had a kind of I don't know what to call it, a game maybe, where when a guy showed up on a first date, she would start a timer. And she would see how long it took him to ask a question with the word you in it. Apparently Epstein won that game because they got married. So that is an you. You really care about the other person. This is so important in the business world and also so neglected. But if you want to get top performance, this is what you need to do. So let me look at and take you through quickly the competencies that are based on the social brain. First of all, there's empathy. Empathy is, I can't even say how important it is, but you should understand there are three kinds of empathy. Each of them depends on a different circuit in the brain. The first kind is cognitive empathy. I understand how you think about things, how you see the world. Cognitive empathy allows you to be very good in communicating. You know the language to put things in, so the person will understand. People with good cognitive empathy get better than expected performance from their direct reports. They do better than others in a foreign assignment to a foreign culture. They can pick up the norms and unspoken rules very quickly. The danger of cognitive empathy alone is what's called the dark triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, sociopathy. These are all ways of manipulating people, which you can do if you don't care about them, but you have very good cognitive empathy. The second kind of empathy is emotional empathy, social brain empathy. I feel what you're feeling. I feel it instantly. It's very powerful. If you want to have rapport, if you want to have a real connection with people, you need emotional empathy. The danger of emotional empathy I alluded to earlier. If you're working, for example, if you're a nurse and you're working with people who are in pain, angry, frustrated, you may pick up their emotions because of emotional empathy. And if you don't have good self-management skills, if you don't know how to handle that inside, then you're likely to get frazzled, to get stressed, to burn out. The third kind of empathy is little known, but I think maybe the most important, especially for leadership. It's called empathic concern. Empathic concern means I know how you think, I know how you feel, but I really care about you. I'm concerned about you. The part of the brain that this resides in is the same that we share with all mammals. It's a parent's caretaking circuitry. It's a parent's love for a child. This has been written about by a British child developmental expert, John Bowlby. He talks about how important it is for a child to feel tuned into, empathized with, cared about, supported, guided, directed. And then he says, it's not just children. We need this all through life. And I would argue that those best leaders, the ones we love to look for, to work for, have this kind of empathy. They have empathic concern. People will give their best for that kind of leader. They trust them. They feel loyal to them. It doesn't mean that leader has to do everything that person wants. Remember, like a good parent, you set boundaries, you name goals, you direct them, you guide them, but you also care about them as a person. Here are some signs of that kind of a leader. These leaders accept and value the person without harsh judgment. They don't criticize and leave it at that. They see the potential in the person. They give helpful feedback. In other words, they know part of their task is to help that person develop further strengths.